So we have known what is about usability already. Now if we compare usability with the other terms, there's a definition of utility, which is whether the products or services provide the features that the user need or not, or the definition of the usability itself, how easy and pleasant those features are to use. Now, if we talk about the usefulness of the system or the product and service, it's going to combine between usability and utility together. So both provide the functions or features that the user would like to use to achieve that goal, and also provide the easiness of use, the pleasant of use to the user. If we compare a little bit more, we talk about usability testing or usability evaluation or user experience evaluation. There are other kind of testing, for example, functional testing services, which is going to be used when we would like to test to ensure the quality of the products or the software or the service that we deliver. So in this case, the functional testing will focus on whether that function perform well as expected or not. Is there any errors or bug generated or not? Then it have to be solved. It would go together with usability testing to ensure the quality. For the usability testing, if the program pass all the functionality testing already, it means that it has a quality. But when we say that the program have quality, we're not quite sure whether the user can still use that product or understand the user interface, how to understand how to use that interface or not. So that's why we still, although the product and services pass the functionality testing already, we will have to do the usability testing again to ensure that the user can use the products or services to achieve that goal. So in the picture here, suppose that we have the software that we have created already. So that would be participants and facilitator in the usability testing. So if you look at the red square there, facilitator would also have to ask some of the question or guide the participant through the task that they have to do. Okay, the facilitator themselves may have the external monitor to look at the screen that the user look at the same time. Okay, and that might be some other sheets, there might be some other documents that we can use to explain about the task that the user have to do during the usability testing. The user in this case, in the blue square, we call them participant because they would participate in the test. Okay, and we would like to set out all the equipment as the same as what the user would use normally as much as possible. For usability testing, the goal and question is focused on how well the user performed the task, right? We have been talking about this. It would be used as well for a comparison of the products or prototype, and also it focuses on the time to complete the task or the number and the type of the error that the user generated. In this case, when we talk about error, it might not be the bugs or errors that generate from the program itself, but it can be the misunderstanding of the user, so then they can navigate it in a different direction, which is not be able to find the right function or the menu that they would like to get, right? And the data would be collected using the video recording or have the interaction logging. Okay, the user satisfaction and questionnaire and interview would provide the data about the user opinion, and we're going to use that opinion or feedback to improve the design later on. If we compare the usability testing here, compare with the experiments for research. Actually, usability testing will use the same approach with the process of doing the experiments. But the experiments would have the hypothesis identified beforehand to discover the new knowledge. And in order to discover this new knowledge, it might be by investigating the relationship between two or more things or factors or variable. Okay. And for the experiments here, the target user or the intended user would have to represent the population and perform the particular task, because we need to find out the statistical differences between each of the tasks. The experiments may also be done in the usability testing, so it can be done using the same approach as we have discussed. If we compare side by side here between the usability testing and the experiment for the research, usability testing, most of the time we would like to gather feedback to improve the product. It can include field participants, maybe around 5, okay? And the result would inform the design. What would be the part that we should improve? Compare with the experiment for the research. The purpose is to discover the new knowledge. Many participants would have to be participate in the experiment because we would like the number to make the stats showing the differences, and the result will be validated statistically. So it means that if the number of the participants who participate in the experiment is less, we're not quite sure whether it represents the whole population or not. So the number of N would be very important in the experiments. Come back to usability testing again. Usually it may not be able to replicate completely. One of the reasons is because when we get the feedback, then we improve the design, we get the feedback, and then we improve the design. It would be iterated. And the condition control, we would like to control as much as possible if we run for the same group of the participants. But the procedure would have to be planned as well, and the result would normally report to the designers or the developer. Compared with the experiment for the research, it must replicable, and the condition would be strongly controlled. It means that if we control the conditions, the independent variable well, then these experiments can be replicated again if we're using the same setting. Okay, and their experimental design or approach have to be laid out before, and most of the time it would report to the scientific community, like publication, the article, things like that. So from what we have been discussed, the test or the evaluation that we have to carry out might be related to functional testing and also usability testing. And usability testing also can be used in the experimental research as well. Why usability is important? Because if we don't really wanted to do the usability testing, can we do only the functionality testing? Well, let's have a look at this. If a website have the function that all the function is complete, if the user use this website, they would definitely achieve that goal. But if it's difficult to use, the user don't really understand that much how to use it. The user go through step by step, but they confuse, then they will leave. So they're not gonna use this website anymore, even though this website helped them to achieve their goal. If the user get lost in the website, for sure, they would find the other websites, right? They would find out the way that would help them achieve their goal. If the designs that we have created doesn't help them, they would leave. If the website's information is hard to read or doesn't really answer the user's key question, of course, they would find out the new one, right? The first law of e-commerce is that if the user cannot find the products, they cannot buy it either. So nobody is going to use the things that we have designed for or implemented for. For employee productivities, we would like the user or the employees to work and get some work done, right? And normally we will look at the time that they use when they have to perform the task as well. If they get lost, if they don't understand the instruction and they do things that take times and money, it might not work as well. So when we talk about usability, it's also improve the easiness of use, and at the same time, it increase the productivity of the user themselves. So why do we need the usability test? There's three main reasons. First, we can uncover the problems in the design and then improve it. We can discover the opportunities as well and improve the design, adding more functions and features to attract more users. And also, the third one, we can learn about the user behavior and their preference. This is the reason why the usability test is important.